All right, first things first. Gotta get rid of those things. All right, and I don't like to stand on a stage. I'm not a speaker, so I'm coming down. Is that all right, Raul? Oh yeah, I'm a roamer. All right, so let's just do a real quick exercise. All right, based on what we just saw in that video. Let's everybody just close their eyes real quick. All right, so imagine you're that young girl on the stage, and imagine you're just in front of whatever audience it is, and you're doing your thing, your passion, your dream. And someone walks over and presses that button, and all the ticker tape comes down, and you won. Feel it. Feel a win. Breathe it in. Feel it. Isn't that awesome? All right. So Raul says, what are you going to talk about? He says, well, I don't know, what do you want to talk about? He says, passion. I said, okay, well, you can't have passion without freedom, so maybe we'll talk about freedom. But then I just watched this video, I'm talking about win. Like, we have so many losses in this life. And I was just talking with a friend of mine, and she said, you know, we have to have 100 losses to get a win. I said, whoa, that's crazy. Why would you ever say that? Why are people taught you have to have 100 losses to get a win? That's door to door, 100 doors to get one sale. How about you surround yourself with winners, surround yourself with people who've been there, who've made the mistakes, who've done the hard work, and all of a sudden you can actually win quicker, right, without having to lose. How about we train people to win? Wouldn't that be awesome, right? So we have winners in the room? All right. So passion comes with freedom, right? If we can't, we're born free. We come out of the womb and we start, all of a sudden life happens. All of a sudden we're taught that our father likes to hit us, or our mother likes to yell at us, or our brother likes to bully us, or the kids at school like to tell us we're fat, slow, whatever, not smart. And then we become a product of our circumstance, a product of our environment, a product of how we were raised, who we were raised by, where we were born, what country we were born. Do we have water? Do we have to fight for food? Do we have to do this? So all of a sudden, by the age of, I think, 7, early childhood psychology says, by the age of 7, something traumatic has happened to you, which actually shapes who you are, right? So by 7, you're taking on that role. Is it a victim? Are you a psychologist? Do you have to be a master psychologist to survive in your own home? Do you have to do you have to hide? Do you have to run? Do you have to fake who you are? All right, so who in this room has ever faked who they are and didn't want anybody to know who they were? Right? We've had times in our life where we're ashamed of, oh my God, I did something. I'm ashamed, I need to hide. I can't let people know who I am. I'm the successful businessman, or I have 4 kids, and I coach their sports, and I can't let them know what I did. So someone would become this, you know, this actor through life. Now pretty soon you get sick of acting. Pretty soon you say, you know what? I want to be the real guy that I am. And now what do you have to do? Raul talked about it. We have to work. We got to work really, really hard at trying to be who we were born to be, right? And so I have people come to me all the time, especially young kids, because I'm in the restaurant business. I'm in the coaching model. I'm not a speaker. I love to coach, train, love to coach all my kids' sports. I coach wrestling. I was a wrestler. I played soccer. And I believe that I'm just born to be a coach. So these kids say, well, how do I know what I'm supposed to be? I said, I don't know. What are you good at? I don't know. Well, what do you want to do? I don't know. Okay, so how do you find your passion? How do you know you're born to live, as like I could put, who are you born to live? Because you're uniquely yourself. Stop trying to be someone else, everyone's taken. And so if we really, really dig deep into who we are, I think there's 3 questions we have to ask ourselves. All right? The first question is, if you really want to know what your passion is, you have to say, what makes me break out in song? What makes me so excited I just break out in song? I don't care if it's in the supermarket. I am doing this, and I'm so happy. Right? The next thing is, what makes you dance in the rain? Walk out and just dance in the rain. Cold rain, warm rain, night rain, day rain, thunderstorms. You're just so excited about because you are doing this, you can just walk out there. And last is a tough one. It's what makes you weep. What makes you cry, because that is your passion, because you're hurt and touched by people who need this, right? It might be something you've overcome in your life that you have to share your story with someone who needs to hear it. I can guarantee you by my travels around the globe that I'm going to guarantee you that 90+% of you have a very similar story that I do in this room. Because like-minded people are drawn to like-minded people. You guys are here for a reason. You're trying to find a way to break free from something, right? We're all trying to have a win. Right? And so many people in this world are just celebrating our losses. They clap when we fail. Oh, look, and he failed. So I told him so. I told him so. All of a sudden you say, oh my God, he was right. I failed. It's okay. It's okay. My dad says if you're not failing, you ain't winning, right? You have to keep trying. You have to take that step. That 1,000-step journey always starts with the first step, right? Rome wasn't built in a day. People say, well, how are you successful? I had to start somewhere, right? My dad had to start somewhere. Raul had to start somewhere. You had to start somewhere, right? Baseball, right? You have to start somewhere. You don't automatically become wealthy. They want to just jump over all those steps and all the work and all the stuff you have to do to become wealthy, right? And to be successful at whatever you do, whatever you choose. And everybody knows this saying, but if you love what you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. And if you do your passion, money will always come. So I was in the restaurant business early, 12 years old, went to work at my uncle's restaurant. We're all in private school, 5 of us grew up. My dad was trying his best to put us through private school. Grew up Baptist. My mother was a stay-at-home mom. So we had to go to work at my uncle's restaurant at 12 to buy our shoes and our belts and our ties and try to help my dad with the household expenses. And I got out of the restaurant business when I was like 16. And my brother-in-law was a mason, so I was a bricklayer, I was a wrestler, so I was working out. Well, I was getting paid to work out, basically. I wanted to be an Olympic champion, so I trained with Olympic gold medalists. I wanted to be a Division I wrestler. I went on to be a Division I wrestler. But college wasn't for me. My dad says, I want your brother to be an attorney, I want you to be an accountant, because I was always good with numbers. That's all right. Well, I got a scholarship to go to Liberty University. Went down there, but the problem was I liked my freedom too much. And I didn't want to be told I couldn't be in the girls' dorms. I didn't want to be told that I couldn't, I had to go to church. I went to church every day of my life, growing up, church camp, church at school, church. So then I grew up thinking that I was bad. Oh my goodness, Mark had a kid when he was 17. He's such a bad boy. Well, I was a bad boy, but in a good way. I was the mad monkey. I was Monkey Marky. I touched everything. And there's a story my brother will tell it the best. He says, he went upstairs and my mom says, where's Mark? Uncle Leo tied him to the furnace. What do you mean he tied him to the furnace? He was touching all their tools, and they tied him to the furnace. It's like, and I was very mischievous, but I was in a good way. I wasn't a bad kid. I was just being a kid, right? But I took their tools, and I wanted to build my own little things, and they kind of got annoyed with me, so they tied me in the corner, put me to the furnace. And it wasn't on. It wasn't, I was fine. But it taught me a lesson not to touch what I wasn't supposed to touch. So growing up in church, I had so many people pull me aside and say, Mark, you're a natural-born leader. I was like 6. I'm like, leader? I don't want to be a leader at 6. I want to just have fun. I'm Monkey Marky. No, then at 7, you're a leader. Everybody's watching you. You need to have a big responsibility. Well, I didn't want that responsibility. I didn't want a responsibility of other kids having to lead them. I want to be a kid. I want to do what I want to do. I want to play my sports. I want to chase the girls. I want to have fun. I want to ride bikes, motorcycles, whatever I want to do. Well, the older I got, I realized that to whom much is given, much is required. We all have our things, right? And God says, hey, this is your thing. You're a coach. You're a natural leader, and go with it. Just accept it and go with it. So once I really accepted that, then I said, all right, I'm going to learn everything I can about being a leader. And thank God I had a guy like my father who was a natural-born leader. He was just a natural-born motivator, natural-born coach, natural-born empath. He's passed on now, but he would always preach soft eye therapy, soft touch therapy, soft voice. So in the restaurant business, when you're coaching kids, especially, we're in the Burger King business back north, is you have a 16-year-old cashier come in and they got a Whopper thrown in their face through the drive-thru window, they start crying, like, hey, kill them with kindness. Just give them a new Whopper, and it's okay. It's going to happen. You're going to have cold French fries once in a while. You're going to have a dirty bathroom, a dirty table. People are going to be, their problem isn't your problem. Don't make it your problem. So my father said there's either 2 kinds of managers. You have a dictator or a leader, right? So a dictator is do, and then it stands there and doesn't do it himself. That's not a leader, right? A leader is right there in the trenches. Leaders right there cleaning bathrooms, mopping toilets, talking to customers, making Whoppers, doing headsets, checking the trash, changing the trash. That's a leader, washing dishes, right? Whatever it takes to be involved as part of the team. So I don't like anybody to call me boss. I don't like anybody to say I'm their boss at all. I am their team member. I am the team. Like, don't call me your boss, right? I am on your level. I might pay you, okay, but you're making the money. They're the ones bringing the money in, so I can pay them. I'm not there every day, right? So we're all in it together. I tell them all that not one person can run a restaurant. I don't know who's ever been in the restaurant business. Anybody ever worked in a restaurant? Fast food, those kind of things. It's hell sometimes, right? You get in a restaurant and you're in the weeds. We call it in the weeds. right? You're buried. You got cars down the road, you got a bus that just pulled in, and you got 5 people. You're like, oh my God, what do I do now? Right? So you're in the weeds and you're trying to figure it out. As a good manager, a good leader, you have to be the orchestrator. You got to be the guy that's on a stage. Okay, violin, trombone, piano, drums, right? You have to be able to, and then once in a while you have to say, stop, time out, time, just take a break, right? Take a break, regroup, recollect ourselves. Sorry, customers, we have to stop. We're buried, right? We're going to be right with you. We might lose some, but hey, we have to save my employees. I have to save my customers that are there. We have to do the best we can, right? So that's an important, what I just said, the best we can. I believe everybody's doing the best they can in this life. And a lot of people think they're not good enough. A lot of people think, well, my brother has more money than me, or my sister's prettier than me, or my friend has a nicer car. So, you know, they're better, or they must be more successful, and they must be. No, it's not true. You're exactly where you're supposed to be in life right at this very moment. So accept it. I mean, I have to be grounded, because you ever hear the word ADHD? Well, that's me, right? That's a guy that my mind is, I mean, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm always thinking about the next business. If I don't have 10 business models going in my head at all times, I can't function. Okay, so I have to be grounded. I have to meditate every day. I have to walk on cool grass. I have to go outside and look at the moon. I have to watch the deer. I have to be in the water. I have to ground, right? So I'm trained first and foremost as a Native American speaker, which is real speaking. Speaking from your heart. As well, I was kind of drawn to Raul, because actually my mother's to blame for meeting Raul, because she bought me his book. She says, Mark, this is your story. I said, really? So she bought me the book. Next thing you know, I'm on a Zoom call with Raul, and I'm like, where's this Raul guy? He's way over in the corner, and he's talking. And I thought I was going to talk. I thought I was going to get interviewed on this Zoom call. He kept talking. And I'm like, next thing I know, I think, oh, that's Raul in the corner. So we got on a call the next day. We kind of hit it off. And like-minded, right? Like-minded. Surround yourself with like-minded people and find that group that you belong in, and iron sharpens iron, right? If you're around the same kind of people that are on your path or similar path, that are trying to better themselves today than they were yesterday, right? That's where you want to be. That's where you want to be. You don't want to be around these naysayers, the people that drag you down, the people that want to see you lose, right? We want wins. We want wins. Even if they're little small wins, it's a building block towards our dream or towards our future, okay? So these young kids, right, I'm huge into early childhood education. I believe, I know for a fact, it's our future, right? What is going on with our kids? We're screwing up royally, guys, okay? And I believe that everybody's here to try to get some trauma that happened to us at early age, to avoid that for the future, right? Can we get these kids to not have it happen to them? And you know, this is very sad. You know what's going on? People aren't having kids anymore. People are not bringing kids in this world. I mentor so many women in their early 30s, mid-30s, foreign women, all over the globe. All they want to do is work and do the American dream. No guy. They don't want a relationship. Guys suck. And they really just want to make money. No kids. No, they have a dog, and they have a nanny, and they have this, and they have that, and they have a sister with a kid or a friend with a kid, but they don't want to bring a kid in this world. I don't blame them. So my heart is women, animal, and children really are at a disadvantage right now. I don't know what happened with the whole flip-flop of the female is the subspecies or the second. I don't even know what we're calling them these days. Why are these foreign countries? What's happening to the women? Why are they letting it happen? Right? Why do guys stand by and think that we're the superior being? I just don't buy it. Right? And I think that women, animals, and children are being affected at an alarming rate. Right? And in my travels, I already told you, I believe that 100% of people had trauma before the age of 7. 100%. A lot of us don't remember it. It could be physical abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse. It could be lots of different things. But trauma before the age of 7, early childhood education. And I'm working on a model called Kids Running Businesses. I'm not going to get into my model because this is not about me. This speech is about you guys. All right, I'm just sharing my heart. But kids running businesses, I'm trying to be the first franchise model that I could find of kids age 5 to 12 running businesses and actually running my businesses. And so I have a few models that I already have set up. And one's a really, really cool one. It's called the Mad Monkey. And Denise's kids want to see the Mad Monkey. So in a nutshell, it's a BuildABear program kind of, it's an online, it's an adoption center. It's a monkey and his sister. They're identical twins, and there's a whole story behind it. I got a book. I got the prototypes. They're being built, and then the kids are able to adopt them, dress them, and care for them. But I'm teaching kids 5 to 12 how to run a business. And it's important. It's super important because they're not being taught in school, right? They're not being taught how to budget money. They're not being taught how to manage money. They're not being taught how to manage a relationship, right? What happens all of a sudden when we become a teenager? Oh my goodness, I'm in love. Okay, well, how do you be in love? What is love, right? All you know is love is that your father hit you. Is that love? No, I mean, or my babysitter abused me. Is that love? Or my mom kept yelling at me. What's love? Right, so now all of a sudden we're thrown into this relationship with this girl or a guy that we're infatuated with. Next thing you know, we're having sex and a baby's born and we're adults. It happened to me. I was 17. Right? I was just told not to have sex. I wasn't taught what to do to protect myself. Okay? When you're a Christian Baptist kid growing up, it's girls gone wild, guys gone wild at 13, 14, 15, 16 is a free-for-all. Your parents can't stop you from having sex, right? So why aren't we being taught? Why aren't these Christian organizations, you have to teach more than just abstinence. You have to teach these kids, here's the result of your action, okay? Is that it's a real thing, and it's an epidemic, and it's a serious problem because divorce is at, what, 75+% right now? Yeah. All right? And so who's raising the kids? The stepfather. It's a mixed family. It's a mother all by herself. It's a father all by herself. I heard a couple stories today where the mother left. That's kind of rare, but I know a lot of people that the mother just bolted. In fact, one of my managers at Burger King, her father raised 4 girls and a boy. So imagine a guy, he's a farmer, the mother bolted. Went to the next city over. Really none of you saw her mother growing up. How sad is that? Mother leaving kids. Something seriously wrong in her life. Some kind of trauma happened that she's like, okay, I can't deal with kids. I had 4 or 5 kids, but I can't deal with them, so I'm just going to bail on my responsibility. Well, I was 17. I had to grow up really, really fast. Right? Here I am. I'm dad. I'm going to be a wrestler. I'm going to be a gold medal. I didn't even love the woman. She wasn't even my girlfriend. But here I am with a kid. So you kind of you take life as it comes at you, right, guys? And you have to do the work. You have to be passionate about what you do. But you have to be free. We have to be free from our past. So everybody, in every speech I heard, everybody so far say something about a trauma, being free from your past. Healing, right? Doing the work. What is the work? What do we do? And I had a guy that I just met who's up in Niagara Falls. I brought a girl up from Florida. She'd never seen Niagara Falls. One of my girls I'm mentoring. And going through a tough time. So we went to Niagara Falls, and I met a guy, and his name was Mark. And he was a coach. He's a corporate coach. It's his own business model. He traveled the nation doing corporate trainings. And he said, Mark, answer me one question. I said, okay. He goes, how do you feel when they don't do what you say? I said, I really don't feel anything because it's not my job. It's my job to give them what I have, my knowledge, and coach them. Of course, I'm going to coach them along, but I can't do it for them. Nobody can, right? So, no, we can't. He goes, well, it makes me so mad when they don't do it. They're paying me $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 for a 30-day training, and they don't do what I say. I said, it's not your problem. It's not your problem. You could just be there for them, be their friend, be their coach, and as long as they're just, taking baby steps and do it, they're going to eventually break free, hopefully. Some don't, though. Some don't. One of my mom's famous sayings, and she's a holistic healer. She's always been into the medicine. We grew up on whole wheat bread, and my brother feeds about 70,000 kids a day in Haiti. I've been a couple times, building schools and orphanages and churches just for nutrition in Haiti. And also teaching. John Maxwell is huge, involved in my brother's. My brother has 70 Burger Kings up in the Northeast. So John Maxwell trains all his leaders, and John Maxwell also trains his leaders in Haiti. So it's a business model set up where my brother is funding the businesses, the Haitians are keeping the money. I think the first time that a white person has done this, I've been to 2 jungle cities where it was the first white man ever to be there. Remember these 2 H-1 Hummers, come flying up through the jungle, these H-1 Hummers. And they think we're all military because you have to have guns. You fly into Port-au-Prince, the most dangerous city in the world. There's no law, there's no armies, all the police are corrupt. You're taking your life in your own hands. You show up as a white person in Haiti, you better be on your guard. So I said all this to say this. My mother said, you didn't cause it, you can't fix it, right? Because she's like, I would go to her all the time and say, Mom, what's the root of this person's problem? She knows all the spiritual roots of disease. She knows okay, they got cancer in the left breast, it's this, Mark. If it's in the right breast, it's this. If they got ovarian cancer, it's this. If it's liver cancer, it's that. If it's esophageal cancer, it's this. Right? There's always spiritual roots to something. What happened? There's a spirit that's stuck somewhere. And as she says, Mark, you can't get overwhelmed with trying to help this person because you didn't cause it. They're going to lash out at you. and you're trying to do your best you can to help this person, but they have to do the work themselves. Work, right, Raul? No substitute for hard work. So be who you're born to live, guys, and just live free. And have a win once in a while. It's okay.